Thanks for tuning
We're
in to
back.
this episode of the Gaming
What are you talking
Stooges
about?
Talks
This isn't a
podcast.
new
We are the
episode.
Gaming Stooges.
I'm Jack.
It
It's
is.
part
You can call us
two.
Cloud.
It's part
And I'm
two.
Planet.
We hope you
We
enjoyed
had-
today's
Literally
new
look at
episode,
the
though. If you
episode
do,
title.
please consider
It's part
subscribing to our
40.
YouTube
Yeah.
channel, following us on
It's
Twitch,
a new
or joining our
episode. Shut the
Discord.
fuck up.
So,
Let's get on with the show.
Last time we did a bunch of the 2D Mario games, and we ran a little long in the tooth. So we're back again on a new episode in order to finish up the rest of the Mario games. So with that,
One might ask, why didn't we do this with so many other episodes?
honestly,
Zelda Part 1, Dragon Ball Podcast.
the Dragon Ball
True.
podcast probably should have been 2 episodes.
Should have been 3 episodes, folks. 3
It
episodes.
could have been 2. Anyway,
It could have been 5.
Anyway, we only have a few more of like the major games, but we do have a bunch of like semi-connected games that we can talk about as well. So let's just jump right back in. So for those of you who are here, and I don't know why you would be here and not listening to the first one, we left off on Super Mario Run. We covered everything from the original Super Mario Brothers all the way down to Super Mario Run. But we're going to go back in time a little bit in order to knock out the next couple games, first being Super Mario Maker.
Back in time to September 11th, 2015.
It released in North America on September 11th, 2015. Yep. On the Wii U. It sold 4 million copies on the Wii U, so being released on September 11th apparently didn't stop people from buying it. Did also come out on the 3DS, and it sold another 3.7 million copies. So you got 2 pretty strong sets of sales across 2 systems. Super Mario Maker was the first of their duology currently. We might get more games later on, where you can make your own Mario levels. There's a couple different styles you can choose from. You've got a bunch of different like set pieces and tools that you can put down, objects and stuff like that. And on the Wii U version, you can share your levels online for people to play. On the 3DS, you can't do it online. You can only street pass them. But
Fun fact, you can't do it on either version, actually.
not anymore. Because the online servers are down. That's a fair thing to say. But when they were up, you could do it.
You could do it for the Wii U, yes.
Yes, you could do it for the Wii U when the servers were up. The servers are down. So yeah, obviously you can't do that anymore. But Super Mario Maker, I think we all have a little bit of experience with this one. Did you guys all get this on launch day or close to launch?
I did get it on launch day.
I think
I got it on
I
launch,
think I
yeah.
remember getting it close to launch. Because it came out in September, and I had already had the Wii U for about a year at that point.
I remember spending too much money that day because if I'm not mistaken, that was also when the PS1 styled PS4 controller came out. I could be wrong,
The
but
20th anniversary.
yeah, the 20th anniversary controller. It was
That's a nice controller.
the 20th. It was around. I mean, it was 2015. But I was landing.
Oh, you
Yeah.
mean this controller?
Yeah,
He's
this
pulling
controller.
the controller out.
It's a nice controller. But yeah, I remember I got Mario Maker. I want to say it was the same day. They had a Bowser Wii remote that had just come out that I decided to buy because fuck it, why not?
Oh, you mean this Wii remote?
Not that one.
Oh, I
Get
tried.
Get that out of my face.
It's gold.
Get
That's
it
a
out of
really
my
nice
face.
Wii remote.
It is a nice Wii remote, and it's one that I don't have. Get it out of my
You
sight.
You could have stole it. You literally could have stolen
One thing I really
Could have.
liked about the release for the Wii U version of Mario Maker, I don't know if they did anything special for the 3DS version because I didn't get it, but I really liked the booklet that it came with, because it came with a fat booklet. So like you had this like cool bits of like, you know, concept art and just like pixel sprites and just like all this cool stuff. I don't think I have that booklet anymore, or I might have left it at my friend's house that I was living with at the time. But That was a really cool booklet that it came with. And it was like, you had that, plus you had the game, and then it had like I believe it had like a nice like sleeve that they sat in together. If I'm not mistaken.
I think so. That sounds about right.
Yeah. Because I remember a booklet coming with it. I just don't remember if it was like if there was like a sleeve or if something else covered it. But I don't know. I always like when like game publishers would go the extra mile and like supply some like cool extra like physical material with the game to like incentivize buying games physically like that. Like the developer, not related to this podcast topic, but like the publishers for the Senran Kagura games, they would also almost always put like an extra like cool like either like a soundtrack or art book or something in with the releases of the games, so that way there you get a cool little bonus when you buy them. And just always been a fan of that.
You mean this art book?
Yeah.
Big fat art
Just kidding.
book.
This didn't come with any game. This was a separate release.
Yeah, I was gonna say that thing's a little too big. R.I.P. Senran Kagura, says Al.
R.I.P. R.I.P. Senran Kagura.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mario Maker.
I mean, there's not a lot to say about the original Mario Maker other than the fact that there was two versions.
I mean, like, conceptually,
really cool idea.
It's genius. Like, it's the kind.
It was like it was honest to God one of the Wii U system sellers.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
A lot of people went out of their way to get a Wii U, and I remember tons of people were streaming this game, like,
yeah,
for a while.
Oh yeah, this game was really popular, especially just on YouTube and Twitch, where people would just like play like crazy levels that people have made, because there's like no end to the sheer number of levels in Mario Maker.
Yeah.
Assuming the servers are up. Obviously they aren't anymore, but...
And the thing about Mario Maker is it was just kind of like taking an idea that fans were already doing a lot of, and then they were just like, well, let's just make an official release where people can do that. Because that's what people were doing for a really long time before Mario Maker came out, is they were hacking games like Mario World, and they were making their own custom levels. Like Kaizo. And people, really liked that. So Nintendo said, okay, let's make a game where people can just do that. And turns out it was good. And I do think, Landon was correct with, because there was, the Wii U sales are not great, but there was like a spike in like console sales when Mario Maker had come out. Because, people wanted an official release where they could just do the thing. Because for quite a few people, not only is it something that people like, but it's also easier to do than wholesale hacking a game on your computer and like trying to like code it differently to put everything down like that. You're just being able to,
especially with the touchscreen.
Oh yeah,
especially with the touchscreen mechanics.
Yeah, because both the Wii U and the 3DS, they have that option, so you can just kind of move everything around. It's just pretty intuitive that way.
Yeah, I will say, and I get this is getting into the second one. I have a lot of what I want to say about this game is like faults I want to make at the second one. So
yeah,
I guess we can just jump into that.
Yeah, like I said, there's not a whole lot to
dogpile on the second game.
There's not a whole lot to say about just the first one in particular, other than it was a really cool idea and it's cool that they did it. But it's hard to talk about this game without talking about the second game, right?
Did you bring up how the 3DS version didn't have online?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You could only street pass the levels to each other.
Yeah.
It was really weird.
Which you can still technically do.
Yes.
Which is you can still share levels with that version.
It is funny to think that in today's day and age, the 3DS version of Mario Maker 1 is the definitive version out of the two, just because you can still technically share levels. Technically.
technically.
But yeah, let me just add in. So we also had they made a sequel, which came out in North America on June 28th, 2019 for the Switch. And so far, as of this podcast, it's sold 28.2 million units. That will probably increase over time because it's a very popular title. It's one of the system's best-selling games in a sea of incredibly well-selling games. And Mario Maker 2 is interesting because it came out at a time when Nintendo was putting a lot of Wii U ports and bringing them over to the Switch. So people thought, oh, they're gonna make a they're gonna bring Mario Maker over, right? And then rather than make Mario bring Mario Maker over like they'd already done from the Wii U to the 3DS, they just gave us a whole new one, and it has more features. Notably, Mario Maker 2, on top of having a few bells and whistles, extra things here and there, has what's called the Super World, where you can basically make your own entire worlds, which is you can make a world map and connect levels together, and essentially just make your own Mario 3, New Super Mario Brothers-esque kind of thing. You can't quite have the world map connected together like Mario World, so you can't do it doesn't give you that much freedom, but you do have the option of having little world maps with the levels in them. So theoretically, you can technically make a whole Mario game if you want. They give you room for, I think it's 8 worlds, 4 levels each, something like that.
That sounds about right.
So, Mario Maker 2, I believe we all got this right around launch. I know I did. I was hyped.
Oh,
I'm pretty
the
sure
other
I
big
did,
thing,
yeah.
the other big thing that this release added over the original release was it had a story mode that you could play through.
Right.
Yeah.
And they had a bunch of pre-made levels for that, so you could play through those.
Yes. But yes, I got it. I know I got it on launch.
I am fairly certain that I got it on launch.
You guys made any levels that stuck with you? I think I made a few levels, but I know I made one level in particular that was a bunch of mushrooms, and then there was drawbridges. Well, not drawbridges, but bridges. And I made a weird hybrid mushroom ocean level, which I don't know how that goes together, but I don't know. That's what I made.
Well, Al just brought it up in the chat that the one level that Landon and I worked on together for Spookfest.
Right. You guys did make
a
level.
That. I vaguely remember more levels I made in the first game than the second one, but there was one that I'm thinking of that, because this also, did you mention this one also added the 3D world aesthetic?
Oh, no, I did not. They added the 3D world aesthetic. Yeah. That's correct. So
it's still just 2D, but it's it is the 3D world style.
The 4 that were introduced in the first game, you had Mario 1, Mario 3, Mario World, and New Super Mario Brothers.
The 4 Mario games.
Yeah. And then they added 3D World in the second one. That's correct.
The 5th Mario game. There's only 5 Mario games.
There's only 5 Mario games, according to
Despite
Mario Maker.
This podcast. Yeah, despite what this podcast says, there's only 5 Mario games.
It's true.
No, and I did like the 3D world aesthetic, and especially the variety of being able to design around the different gameplay styles that each of those bring is really cool, because you're building around whatever the moveset Mario and friends have in that.
Yeah.
Now, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and they do have slight set piece differences between them. Most of it is consistent, but if you pick a certain style, occasionally you'll have certain items that only really go with that style. And there's also a couple of features, you had mentioned moveset, where it's locked to certain styles, the amiibo functionality to change Mario into a different character. That was exclusive to the Mario 1 style.
And wasn't that also only in
I think, is that only in the first game?
I think, and that was what I was going to bring up. the custom 8-bit skins is only in the first game, and why didn't they bring it back? It would have been so easy to like bring that back.
Yeah.
There's no reason for them not to have brought that back. And it wasn't just, you didn't unlock these just from like owning Amiibo. Like they did like weekly or like bi-weekly challenges, where if you cleared a special level, you got whatever promotional skin was added. So like there was like some pretty funny ones that they added.
I think the game also tracked like just how long you spent like in the creator and stuff like that. And I think I remember it like unlocking some of them based on how much time you spend. Because I didn't remember doing a lot of the challenges, but I remember unlocking some of the Amiibo skins. And I didn't own a lot of Amiibo. And I think I remember just unlocking it just because I was using the game a bunch. Like, it was just...
Yeah, they had some neat ways to where you can unlock, like, some of them. Or if you, like, cleared a level and I think it had it, like, even if it wasn't one of those special levels,
like, online.
You can also get it through that.
If you did, like, one of those levels. I think that's right. And
but, like,
it's a shame
there was some...
that they didn't do that, too.
There was some really cool, like, stuff you could do because, like, Link played, like... 8-bit Link, and so like there was some really cool like 2D like 8-bit Link levels and stuff, and like it was just a lot of fun. And that's like one of my biggest things about Super Mario Maker 2 was like the lack of like the customizable skins, Amiibo skins. Like any of that functionality being removed was just like, why?
Yeah,
why would you do this?
And it's like the Switch has full Amiibo functionality, and by taking out the Amiibo functionality, you're also removing like a huge incentive to use the Mario 1 style. Because while the Mario 1 style, you know, it does look nostalgic, it is the most restrictive in terms of what you can do with it compared to the other styles. Just because it's Mario 1, so there wasn't as much to go off of. Like, they had to adapt some stuff from from future games into the Mario 1 style. But because you don't have the Amiibo anymore, like, you don't even have that to, like, set it aside and, like, be its own thing. So it is kind of it is a shame. It's not even just kind of a shame. It is a shame. So there's not really, like, a best Mario Maker in that regard, because you don't have any version that has everything in it.
Yeah.
I will say, and Al brought this up in the chat as well, the online multiplayer is fun, but very laggy.
Yeah. that is true. They added online multiplayer, because there was an online component, but the second game added the ability to play with your friends, and that is chaotic and very fun.
It's honestly really fun if you don't mind putting up with the absurd amounts of lag that you're going to suffer through. But I mean,
yeah, the online is bad.
If you
like, the online's like Wii era bad.
I wouldn't say that.
Okay.
It's not like Brawl Online bad.
But Brawl is also infamously like the worst offender of like the Wii's Online. It's not like every game operated that way.
I think it's the worst offender of any console's online, honestly. It's pretty awful. Oh, yeah. But no, it's not the worst, but it's pretty laggy.
Yeah. I do remember
it made it.
You guys used to
We
play
did a whole
lot
stream.
Together.
Yeah.
I played a little bit. Like, I didn't play quite as much as you guys together, but we all did play quite a few sessions together at one point.
We definitely did at least like a game night stream for
we
it.
did a couple game night streams where it would be like in the rotation.
Yeah, that was back when we had like GamingStooges game nights, where we would just set up like a night where we'd be like, all right, we're all gonna get together and we're gonna play this game together on stream.
The days before Twitch.
Yeah.
The days of COVID.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think I remember we did a lot of that in like 2020.
That was the only time you could physically do anything.
Yep. So
as long as you didn't have to go somewhere, if you could just sit on your ass, you could do it.
Yeah. God, we got to do that again sometime. We got to like bring back the.
It'll literally never happen. Do not even like think about it.
No, probably not.
Or,
Especially...
alternative, new Patreon tier.
New Patreon tier.
New Patreon
Pay us
tier.
$50. Pay us $50 a month, and you'll get a personal game night with us.
Oh.
Unless you're Al, and then when we just play Mario Party.
he just gets
honestly,
in anyway, and then like and then there's like a $50 tier member that's like, why does he get to be here? He's not part of the tier.
See, Al's been grandfathered in. He's been around longer than anyone that watches our streams. So.
Yeah, true.
He's a mod. He has to be there.
Yeah,
true.
Exactly.
Are you a mod?
What are we paying him for?
Good question.
But
yeah.
Yeah.
We're not paying him. That's the joke.
So I don't know about you
He's
guys,
paying us.
but I do have an ambition, like eventually one day, hopefully before the Switch Online goes down, I do want to make like my own like super world, because I've seen, some people they really go all in on this sort of thing, and they like make like entire games worth of stuff. And now that you have super worlds, you can like literally just put your own games out there on Mario Maker 2. So I want to do that sometime.
If I had infinite time, sure.
I was gonna say, I feel like out of the three of us, if you had the time, you'd be like the first to have gotten this done.
Yeah, but there's like so much other stuff that I want to do that's like the lowest priority thing. And I mean, like, I really enjoyed making levels, like, 'cause, like, we would just, not even just like playing the game, we would just like make levels on stream, and like we had a blast doing that. So like I had no issue like making levels. It's just that's a lot of levels and a lot of thought that has to go like into like designing the levels of like difficulty curve and everything, because like if you want to make like a good like world, even like
yeah,
you have to have you have to craft a story,
right?
Whereas like I was really good at like coming up with like one level and like coming up with a story for that, which is hard enough. Like it is a bit of a challenge just to do that, but then to do that times 4 times 8,
yeah,
it's like, ugh.
But like just thinking about like World 1 of Mario 1, there's a story there, right? You have like your typical main like overworld level 1, and then at the end of that level you go underground and you're traveling through the underground level. That's 1-2, and then at the end you come back up and then you go into 1-3, and 1-3 is like this, like, it's above ground, but you've got the athletic theme, as they call it, where you've got a bunch of like moving platforms and it's all above like bottomless pits, and you've got like this acrobatic sort of level. And then at the end of that you got that castle level, World 1-4. So like there's like a sense of like progressing through an area and making your way through, like it doesn't really feel like it when you're playing, but then you kind of like piece it together and it's like you're going through one almost continuous set of levels that like kind of mesh together. So like if you don't do that in a Mario world that you're trying to put for Mario Maker 2, it's just gonna kind of come up as like kind of like gibberish basically.
Yeah,
which I think that's kind of why I didn't care for the story mode. Like, it's fun, but they like really wanted to like diversify like the levels that you were playing to like show off the different themes. So it's not like they like made like a cohesive game for you to play through. It was more like an example of levels.
Which I think having a springboard it's
good.
Nice.
Yeah. It's just it's not an example of what you should be making.
No, not at least not for like a world. And also like the world came in like after the fact.
Right. They added
they
it in.
They didn't have that. That was an update later on. Like I feel like a while. It like took them a while.
I was just saying, when did it come out? It was during the pandemic. It was like 2021 or something like that.
I think so.
I want to say it was
a
like,
while.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly.
Because I'm pretty sure it came out closer to the release than it is to present day, but it was also pretty far separated from the launch. I guess we could check real quick what that was. And I remember, like, people were hyped for that. I was wrong. It was April 2020.
Yeah, it was the 3.0 update.
That makes sense.
Which is still, like, almost a year after release.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, 11 months after release, that is when they dropped the World update.
What about you, Jack? Have you ever,
Which is
like,
a while.
Have you ever wanted to make, like, a, like, your own, like, super world since the update?
It's just not something I ever really, like, got into, like, the making aspect of Mario Maker, and I know that sounds silly because, like, that's the whole point. Like, I've definitely tried to make my own levels, and I do have at least a few, but, like, I have ADHD, and it's hard for me to come up with good ideas in a timely manner. I'm constantly distracted, and it makes creating levels kind of a chore. So it's the way it is.
Yeah, you were the one that liked to play through other people's creations more so.
Yeah, it's mostly what I used Mario Maker for, honestly.
Which, I mean, with all the stuff that was created, like, you know.
I mean, I had more than enough content to make the game worth it. I mean, believe me, I didn't feel like I was cheated out of a Mario Maker experience because I'm not making levels, but
I mean, to be fair,
yeah.
It's like, you cannot be the only one that bought Mario Maker more so to play other people's levels than making your own. Like, I'm sure there's, like, a pretty large chunk of people that were like, I'm not going to make my own levels, but I'm definitely going to play whatever monstrous creations people come up with.
Yeah. I mean, of course, when at least when I first bought Mario Maker 1, my intent was to at least, like, make something, and I did make some things, but just, like, I spent way more time just playing levels than I did making them, so...
Oh, yeah. But, I mean, you had a good time. You managed to, you know, get your money's worth out of it, so...
Yeah.
So, the next game that came out, which is our last game for, like, the main set, we'll have more to talk about after, is, of course, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, which you guys may remember from the last episode. I called Super Mario Wonder and forgot the bros part. And then...
It became a whole thing.
It became a whole thing. But it came out on October 20th, 2023 for the Switch, which is last year as of this podcast. Almost a year already since this game's come out. It's pretty crazy. And it's sold 13.4 million units so far. Now, it being less than a year old as of this podcast, which it will be a year old by the time this goes out to other platforms and the VOD goes out. It's gonna get more. It's gonna get more sales as time goes on. It's been catching on. A lot of people like it. It is a late release in the console's life, so it may not hit like the super high sales of something like a Mario Maker 2, but it's gonna get more as time goes on. We did review this game, but
we did.
I think, you know, now that it's been almost a year, we can give a little bit more of a retrospective on it. So, Mario Brothers Wonder, we all did get at launch, although I know we didn't play it on launch night, from what I remember, because we streamed this together. So, I don't remember when the first stream of that was, but it was within the launch week. But we didn't play it the first night.
It was the first game that we streamed after Spookfest.
Yeah.
So it was probably like
November.
Sometime early November.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, that tracks.
Good times.
I mean, yeah, Super Mario Wonder, good times. We played through pretty much the whole game. Jack, you were like, Jack and Landon, actually both of you guys were like basically inches from 100% completion. Jack does not want to remember this.
Don't remind him.
Jack is reliving. I'm so sorry. Jack is reliving.
No, I know. I knew it would come up.
Now this is Jack's like Vietnam trigger moment.
I didn't go back to to do all the stuff that they did. But Jack,
yeah, no, the final level is really, really hard. We'll return to it one day. I need to just, like, buckle down and grind for lives and just, like, go in with 99 plus, and hopefully I'll be able to get through it, because it's fucking hard, man.
It's a tough level.
It really is. It's, like, one of the toughest levels in the series, like 2D or 3D.
And Mario, like, especially for, like, their special slash, like their bonus content, a lot of times the Mario games have, like, some ridiculous levels.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, the crown level for Super Mario 3D World is, like, a real big challenge.
Also up there.
Yeah.
The fucking the Grandmaster Galaxy from Mario Galaxy 2.
It's another tough
absurd
one. Yeah. Some of the levels from, like, Super Mario World, the special world from that.
Yeah.
Like, there's a couple that are a little challenging. Yeah. So it's not like it's not out of the blue. It's just a really tough level.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it is at the very, very end of the game. So
you have to literally 100% the rest of the game.
Yeah.
To get to it.
So, like, it, like Landon said, it's not unexpected, and nor is it, like... It's exactly what Mario is known for in those circumstances. It's like, you are going to get hard levels at the end of the game that are, like, optional. You don't have to beat them because you've already beaten the main story, but, like, here's an extra challenge to kind of, like, sink your teeth into, sort of thing.
Yeah. Now, that is to say...
I've never really been that kind of person to, like, play through those levels in Mario games, to be fair. Like, at least from, like, my perspective, like, I just want to play through the main game as much as possible. So, I mean, I had my fill.
For this one in particular, because we can play it multiplayer, I'm more inclined to, like, suffer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, when I was playing through Super Mario, New Super Mario Brothers 2, or New Super Mario Brothers Wii, I was like, I got all the gold coins and everything for every world up until the special world, and I tried that. I died like 35 to 40 times without clearing the first level, and I was like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't blame you.
Doesn't help that does not have checkpoints. There's no checkpoints in the special levels for that game.
Yep.
That game.
And speaking of, before we get into talking about more of, like, the rest of the game sort of thing, one thing that really helps Mario Wonder. So Mario Wonder has online multiplayer. We played it. That's how we streamed it. And even though, so you don't have that aspect from the new Super Mario Brothers games that had multiplayer where you were actively interacting with the other players on the map. In Mario Wonder, the characters, in the online at least, they basically are shadowing each other, but as a trade-off, you do get to essentially make checkpoints for each other.
Yep.
So, like, if there's a tricky part, if somebody makes a checkpoint, and then you reach that checkpoint, and then you die, well, you can just go back to that checkpoint that somebody made. So, like, you have that option to kind of work together to make, like, safe spots. Which you don't have that in other games.
I think I prefer this type of online rather than,
I think,
like,
I do too.
If you're playing online, this makes sense instead of, like, the chaotic, like, local co-op.
Yeah.
Of, like, the new Super Mario Brothers games.
Because we saw what happened when they tried to do that with Mario Maker 2. It didn't work.
And I was going to say, I think that's why we got what we did with Mario Wonder, is because they realized we can't do this again and expect people to be okay with it. Like, we have to do something else that works better.
So, like, unfortunately, the online is less, like, cooperatively engaging than it is for like local co-op, but it makes sense the way that it is just because of you want the game to run smoothly when you play online. And it's good. I mean, I'm not complaining about it too much because we didn't have any problems when we played through the game online. Like,
Not really.
I was gonna say,
No.
I think we were in some of the later trickier things. I mean, we were using the whole fact that you can lay down checkpoints for each other, like strategically. I mean, you guys,
true.
I mean, you guys were doing that throughout the bonus levels to try to get through them.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I was there for one of the bonus levels because one of the bonus levels is a lot easier to access because you don't have to beat the entire game 100%. You just have to have all of what was it? I think it's not all the purple coins because that's the thing that I didn't do. I think you just have to clear all the other levels, like not like start, not 100%, but like it was because like the bonus level that you guys were stuck on was the one that used all of the like the weird like
The badges.
Yeah, the badges. And then the one before that, I was there with it, and it was all these different Wonder Flower segments that they had meshed together. So, like, we had used the checkpoint system to try to, like, keep each other going throughout the level. So, I mean, it added strategy. One thing I really liked about this game was the power-ups in this game. The power-up lineup was actually really nice because
there's some good power-ups.
You had the bubble flower, which I think is a good replacement for the ice flower because it's a little bit more unique in that because the ice flower was essentially just a fire flower that would freeze enemies, but with the bubble it also has like a different speed, and you know they like float out rather than bounce along, and it can turn stuff in, it can encase stuff in bubbles. The drill mushroom was another power-up that they added. The elephant fruit, that was actually something that they had advertised before the game had come out pretty heavily. Being able to use the elephant power-up, you would basically have just like this big chonky version of your character that can like ram into stuff, and they can hold on to water and like spray that water out. And they usually will have in those same levels where you can use the elephant some sort of water resource to refill your trunk. So like they actually like have like a kind of system with that. And then of course you had the fire flower, the mushroom, the superstar. The wonder flower was like the main thing with this game. And we talked about this in our review, but I like how it's not always 100% required to finish a level. Now, you're going to want to do it, but you don't have to do it, and the level can be different depending on whether or not you use it. I don't know, I like that they basically like had a sort of like alternative level based on whether or not you pick that up.
I enjoyed the Wonder Seeds.
Yeah, no, they were always really cool. There was like, I don't know, the way that they were implemented into the levels was always really cool. And there's like a lot of like really unique ideas going on with the Wonder Seeds that just take the levels from like here to like,
yeah,
like some like levels that would otherwise be good, you know, like certainly good levels, and then you throw in the Wonder Seed and all of a sudden, oh, it's like a fucking like top-down view all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Or you're a slime, or you're a Goomba, and it's Metal Gear Solid, but you're a Goomba. And yeah, just like shit like that.
Or they like turned everything into like black and white silhouette, and you have to try to maneuver around without being able to like have like depth perception and like extra details to go off of.
Donkey Kong Country Returns. Yeah. Exactly.
Or you're Metal Snake and it's actually just Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah. No,
True.
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I would probably say that this is up there as far as like 2D Mario games go for me.
Like,
where would you rank it?
It's like top 3, honestly. Like, I can't think of like more than 3 games that are better, like more than 3 Mario games that are better than this one in terms of the 2D games anyway.
Yeah, I would probably say like this might be my second favorite, like behind Mario 3. Cuz like
definitely second or third for me.
Cuz like I would put it ahead of World. I would put it ahead of most, if not all, of the like I'm trying to think. There might be one of the new Super Mario Brothers games that like might like beat it out, but that might also like if I go back and play that game, I might not actually think that. So I'd probably safely say that I would put it above Mario Land 2, and that's saying quite a lot. Yeah, like. I don't know. We'll come back around to like what would you say would be like a top 5, but I would say that Mario Wonder is definitely among those. So this is like probably one of the best Mario games or 2D Mario games they've put out.
Yeah,
you can just say it's one of the best Mario games.
Yeah, it is one of the best Mario games. Like there's,
it is.
There's a lot of Mario games out there. This is definitely one of the best ones.
Even if you're just sticking to like more core Mario 2D, 3D platformers, like easy.
It's one of the best ones for sure.
Like you talk.
But, I mean, you can throw in side fucking shit like the RPGs and stuff, and this still like is
ranks
there
pretty highly. I would say.
I would say easy top 10 like Mario game.
Yeah, that's about right. Because like you would like Mario Wonder is definitely in that conversation with like Mario Galaxy, Super Mario 64, Mario 3, Mario World. Paper Mario 1000 Year Door.
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Like Mario Wonder is, it's up there.
For
now,
sure.
Talking about one of the best Mario 2D platformers, Donkey Kong.
So, did you have anything else you wanted to add about Mario Wonderland, or did you want to move on to that stuff?
We can move on for now, because I'm sure I will say a word later about it.
Well, you know what? Actually, before we jump into the side stuff, why don't we go ahead and do some housekeeping? So if you guys want to get up and get anything, Landon's rushing. He's going.
Landon's out.
He is going.
He has left the building.
So, I did want to... I can't stop laughing at just how fast he got up. So, GamingStooges... Twitch.tv/GamingStooges, that's where you are now if you're watching this live. But we have a Patreon, patreon.com/GamingStooges. If you support us at any tier, $3 or more, you can help decide the control of the podcast. What are we going to talk about next? We actually have a poll going on right now as of the live airing of this. It will have decided this before this goes out to other platforms. But Patreon voters got to decide what our next topic is going to be, and it's going to be really exciting for our next 2 episodes because we've got a couple really good topics coming ahead. We have here on Twitch, there's Spookfest going on. You guys want to talk about what you're playing for Spookfest?
No.
No?
No? Okay.
Okay, now I do.
Okay. Well, I am currently playing through our stream redux of Night in the Woods, now with 100% more voices, because we're doing goofy voices for everybody, unlike what we did in the LP, where we just talked over it. Yeah,
we didn't even like comment on the game.
We
just talked over it.
Kind of did. It was. I feel like a lot of dialogue was lost in that LP, though, just because of, like, conversations we had, but that's just the nature of a Let's Play.
95% of the dialogue was lost.
Probably.
But that's true with any, like, simply text-based game that we LP.
True. Yeah, that's why I never got into Ace Attorney until we started doing streams, and I'm like, oh, well, I know I'm streaming first.
And then we still talked over that one.
Well, yeah, but still.
Anyway, I have been playing the more important Spookfest game, The Quarry, by Supermassive Games. It's a Supermassive Games game.
True. It's the yearly Supermassive Games Spookfest stream.
Supermassive Games just kind of decided, hey, there are these 3 guys that get like 2 concurrent viewers on their Twitch, and we got to make sure there's a new game for them every year.
Yeah.
Like,
we thank them for that. You can catch Night in the Woods on
Supermassive Games.
Shout out to Supermassive Games. You can catch Night in the Woods on Tuesdays and Thursdays this month, except for Thursday this week, and also Tuesday next week. So we're gonna have to figure that out too. But anyway, Tuesdays and Thursdays for the most part in October, and The Quarry on alternating Wednesdays from the podcast. So we played it last week. We're going to play it next week.
By the time you're hearing this on other platforms, there's only one more The Quarry stream.
True.
Allegedly.
No. It's a 9-hour game.
We're going to finish this in 3 streams pretty easily.
Okay.
It's a Supermassive Games game. We will finish it.
Yeah. I mean, we finished, what was the one last year?
Devil in Me.
Devil in Me,
The Dark Pictures Anthology, The Devil in Me.
We did that one in 3 streams. So, this one will probably be about the same.
Landon, did you want to show us what you got?
So, Tillamook decided to finally put out pint-sized fucking...
Really?
Ice cream in my grocer.
Ooh.
So, fuck yes.
Neat.
Pint-sized Tillamook ice cream. Not custard, which they had already been doing, but just the fucking regular ice creams. Now, it's not the fun flavors. It's more of their standard flavors. So, like, chocolate peanut butter, which I have right now. Go watch the video. I also bought a mint chocolate chip. They have, your French vanilla, your Oregon strawberry, those type stuff. So it's not the like super fun special edition flavors, but pint size.
I will say I actually just noticed at my local Kroger the other day that they added a new Tillamook flavor for the first time in a while. And by new, I mean it came out last year in Oregon, but I guess it's making it to the rest of the country now. The fucking Christmas sugar cookie one, which is weird that it would come out in October.
No, I saw a line of it like when we went grocery shopping earlier.
I'm not surprised. Like, there's quite a few places that are like putting getting ready for Christmas stuff, even though like Halloween hasn't even passed yet. It's a capitalism thing at this point. They're like, people are gonna buy it.
I told you guys that radio ad, right?
Yeah,
I think it was last podcast stream. Like I had before the podcast, and we recorded that in September.
Yeah,
yeah,
true.
Maybe it was that, or maybe it was like before we did a Delta Green, whatever. But yeah, no, like I've already started hearing ads on the radio for fucking Christmas.
Yeah,
so
it's ridiculous.
The sugar cookie's pretty good. I'd say try it out, but pint size Tillamook.
How much? Okay, I'm curious. How much is like a normal like tub? I was going to say like 2 quarts, but they made them smaller. They're now 1.5 quarts. How much are those how much are the normal sizes in your area, and how much is like a pint, like for comparison?
So I have to go specifically at where the place that sells that I've seen sold the pints so far, which was Safeway. Safeway, I think, typically sells the big boys for, I want to say $6.50 to $7.
I was gonna say, I think that sounds right, because I think I remember it was about like that much at the grocery store where I can get one of the grocery stores where they sell it over here too. It's like
I think when they're regular. I think when they're regular price, they're $7.
Yeah, and then these normal regular price were labeled at $5.
Okay.
Okay.
Now this they had a deal for 2 for $7, so $3.50.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's worth it.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, when I shop at Winco, that's a little bit different because Winco like has everything super cheap. So, but I haven't seen the pint size at Winco, and that's been my contention. That's been my issue. Is like, listen,
It's
I'm
not
old,
there.
I'm dying.
I'm dying, and I need pint size specifically.
Yeah, it's too much. It's too much ice cream. It just sits around. It's just too much.
Yeah, no,
Especially,
I'm
the only one. I'm the only one right now in the house that can eat it. It's not even I'm the only one who wants to eat it. It's a.
You're the only one that can.
She can't eat it, so maybe something will change soon, and I will just start feeding ice cream.
I forgot why
small children.
Why is that again? I forgot. Is it because
she's lactose intolerant?
Okay, she is. I wasn't sure if it was out of a lactose intolerance or if she was like straight like vegan, sort of.
No.
Okay.
No, she will eat meat and
Kari's
all sorts
vegan.
of jazz.
Okay.
Kari's vegan straight edge.
But
no,
just kidding.
It smells real bad.
I was gonna say Bethany is lactose intolerant too, but that doesn't stop her.
let's get back to our Mario discussion.
No, did you talk about Delta Green?
Tillamook.
Oh no, we didn't talk about Delta Green. We are currently
Plug the
doing
gold tier, you asshole.
We are doing gold tier. Oh yeah, and I forgot to do the shout. Sorry, we got carried away talking about Tillamook. I forgot to do the rest of this. So we have Delta Green going on for our Patreon exclusive. If you are a gold tier stooge, I always mess that up. The gold tier stooges have access to both bonus content where we have at least one extra thing each month. Right now it's Delta Green. We're doing what is the name of this one again? I keep forgetting.
Streamophilia.
Yeah, that one. We are actually pretty deep in. The other one, if you remember, there was only like a couple of videos, but this one we got a good number of videos coming because we're doing a lot more than I think Landon expected us to do.
It is a chunky, it can be chunky, and these guys are touching just about everything they can.
We're touching all the chunks.
It's really,
you know what?
It's a really good series too. So like, if you haven't already either subscribed to that tier or upgraded your tier, I definitely suggest like at least 1 month like giving that a shot because we have a lot of cool stuff to look at this point.
Yeah, we have a shitload of videos that are Patreon exclusive, so give it a shot.
So, yeah, gold tier stooges. We got Pixel Vixen on the gold tier as well. So shout out to her as always. But
yes, you get a shout out.
You can join the
exclusive content.
You can join them if you get to that tier. We'll shout you out every month too.
What if I was a gold tier stooge? Would you shout me out?
Yes.
I have no choice. I would have to, right?
Yeah, I would.
If
Cloud didn't do it, I would.
I would have to.
Founding member Landon Cohen.
Yeah. Giving himself $6 every month.
Not even. I just give that to Cloud.
I was gonna say.
Okay.
Here you go.
It goes to the RSS anyway. That way there I can keep that going because the RSS is a monthly fee that helps us get everything out to other platforms. So your support helps us keep doing that every month. So thank you again.
You're welcome.
Let's jump back into the Mario games. Now we've already talked about all of the actual core 2D Mario platformers, but there are other 2D side-scrolling games very similar to Mario that are connected in some way. So we're going to talk about a bunch of those. The first one, I'm actually going to kind of ravel these together. They're under the same umbrella, but you have Donkey Kong. Not Donkey Kong Country, Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong.
Which encompasses, you've got Donkey Kong, you've got Donkey Kong Jr., you have Donkey Kong on Game Boy in 1994. That is not the same game as the original Donkey Kong. A little bit.
I mean, it's a completely different game. Yeah. Technically, it contains the original Donkey Kong as the first 4 levels, but then it moves on and becomes an entirely different thing.
Exactly. So, you've got... I might not have listed all of them, but those are 3 of the major ones of that branch-off series. Now, I'll admit, I don't have a lot of experience with these games. I probably have the most experience with Donkey Kong Jr. out of all of these, and I didn't even play Donkey Kong Jr. all that much.
I think we left it to just those because the other original series Donkey Kong
do not have Mario in them.
And it was Donkey Kong 3, which was more of a shooter than it was like a platformer.
Right.
We were sticking to the platformers.
Right.
Which was... And then like there was, Donkey Kong Math or some shit?
Donkey Kong Junior Math.
Yeah, no. That is why, yeah, we kept it to these three because they are literally, like, platformers in a sense. Now, a couple of these with like Donkey Kong Jr. specifically, I don't know how much Donkey Kong 94 goes into this sort of thing, but like they are like on the same screen, but you are platforming around the level, so like it's connected enough. But I mean,
so for our conversation, just stick to Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr. because Donkey Kong 94 is, like Jack said,
it's
an entirely different beast. And it is more it is more akin to Mario versus Donkey Kong than it is to.
Speaking of which, that is on my list.
It is also on the list. Yes, so that's why we'll
just
stick to Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong.
For this part of the conversation, we'll talk about that because I mean, there's like basically the list that we have. It's like there's one game and it is connected to the Mario series, and then it like branches off into its own thing. So that's what Landon's getting at, where you have Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr. They are basically directly connected to the Super Mario series because that's where it really started. But then you have Donkey Kong 94, which branches off into its own thing. So like you're going to see a lot of that in like this short list of games we're about to talk about. But I mean, yeah, I was never really big on the original Donkey Kong. I did not play a whole lot of this one. It was I probably played like, you know, bits and pieces here and there, like arcades, but nothing really serious. I do remember playing Donkey Kong Jr. I don't remember on what device I played it on. I didn't play it all that much, but I played it more than the original Donkey Kong.
It is an arcade game.
It is.
Yeah, I would say these and then the original Mario Bros. Game are like... They are neat for what they are, and their timepiece, and...
I will say,
I
played the original Mario Brothers more than either of these two, and that is because they put this game in every iteration of the Mario Advance series. Not necessarily a bad thing, I just think it's funny that I technically own this game like 4 times.
Yeah.
Yeah. This, and then, like I said, the original Mario Brothers, like, they shoehorned that in to those as well.
Well, that's what I meant, is that it was the original. Yeah, I don't know if any of the if the original Donkey Kong's in any of those like kind of collection, like in any of those like remasters or remakes or anything. At least I don't own any of them,
because that's where Mario started.
I know, right?
I would say as old games that as they hold up, I would say yes, Super Mario Bros holds up a lot more than like these Donkey Kong Jr. and Mario Brothers, like those. But it is like a different style game, so it's like almost comparing like it's like comparing blueberries to blackberries.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, they're arcade games. Oh, I have a cat.
Sneezy.
My cat is here.
Oh my gosh, she's so chonky.
Yeah, she is. She got really fat. Okay.
Did you just feed her another cat?
No. But no, I was gonna say, so like Landon said, like they're different beasts. They're not the kind of game where like you can pick up and play it at home for like a long session. Like you're meant to like pick it up, play it for like 5 to 10 minutes, and then you just go about your day, and that's it. Like it's just like it's supposed to be like a quick pick up, put down sort of thing. So it's going to be different. It's a different experience. Jack, did you play any of these all that much?
I've actually played an original Donkey Kong cabinet. I didn't get very far. I'm not very good at this game, and honestly, Mario moves like a bag of bricks.
Fucking tank.
Jumpman?
Yeah.
He's Jump
Jump.
Man.
Excuse me.
Jumpman,
Sorry,
quote,
Jumpman. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Little known fact, internet fact, folks.
Wow.
Mario isn't his original name.
Well, Landon, hold on. You need to start by saying, "Did you know?"
Did you know?
I'll get sued.
I'll get
True. Shit.
Anyway.
Yeah, I don't have a ton of experience with these, honestly.
I don't think I've ever played Donkey Kong Jr., but I have played Donkey Kong. And that's about it.
Am I the only person that played Donkey Kong Jr.?
You're the only person on the planet
On
that
the
ever
planet.
played Donkey
Yeah.
Kong Jr.
On the entire Earth.
I thought it was kind of...
Honestly,
I thought it was
I
kind
don't
of
even think it's real.
I was gonna say, I think it's kind of neat, because, like, I mean, for one, you play as Donkey Kong Jr. instead, because Mario's kidnapped Donkey Kong, and you can climb up vines, and you have to avoid the things that Mario is doing, because I don't know why, they just decided that Donkey Kong Jr.'s the hero and Mario's the bad guy. Sorry, Jumpman.
I mean, technically, Donkey Kong Jr. is the current day Donkey Kong, so...
Yeah.
It's weird. Shit gets weird real fast, folks.
And old Donkey Kong is Cranky Kong, so...
I forgot about
you go.
that fact.
Yeah, it's literally canon.
Well, the more you know.
Yep.
The next game we can talk about, I'll talk about this one first because it came first. The original it was branching off of came first. But you had Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island. We have it here
baby.
because it's literally called Super Mario World 2, but it is not even close to the same game, and it branched off Yoshi into its own entire franchise. Like,
Yep. But Mario is in it.
Mario is in it
as a baby.
So it does have some loose connection. But I mean, yeah, you got an entire Yoshi series out of this now. You got Yoshi's Story, you got Yoshi's Woolly World, Yoshi's Crafted World. There's like probably another. There's Yoshi's Island DS, or Yoshi's New Island.
Yoshi Touch and Go.
Yoshi Touch and Go. Like there's a lot of games.
Yeah.
How much experience do you guys have with this game or this this branching off series?
A lot, honestly.
I was gonna say I feel like you would. I feel like
you would.
Shush. I love this game. Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island is like, if it were to count as a Mario title, I don't personally, in like at least the main series, but like it would be like the game that keeps Mario Wonder out of the top 3 for me.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
It's up there for me. Like this game is actually fucking fantastic. Like I love the art style in this game. Like the watercolor shit that they have going on is so different from anything else in like the Mario series prior to this that it's so unique. I love the music. It has really fucking cool level design. You play as Yoshi now, who comes with like his own fucking set of moves where you like eat enemies and poop out eggs and then throw eggs. And if you get hit, you lose Mario and then he cries. And if you lose him for longer than like the timer that you have, he gets captured and then that's game over.
He dies.
He dies. But no, this game rules.
How excited
honestly.
were you when they revealed the Yoshi's Island stage in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe?
Honestly, I was very excited. I love that stage.
It's a really good track.
It is. It's it's pretty simple, like layout wise, but like it really captures the Yoshi's Island feel.
I would say I feel like it managed to cram a lot together into one track and not be like cluttered or anything. Like it's very well put together.
Yep.
Landon, have you played Yoshi's Island?
A little bit. I have.
Unfortunately,
fun.
We tried to do we tried to make this a stream series, but unfortunately, there's no actual 2-player for this game.
Aw, rip.
Yeah, we wanted to do a co-op run, but
Yeah,
womp.
there isn't one.
Rip. I've never actually played Yoshi's Island, so I don't have any experience with this one.
I recommend it. You can find it on pretty much anything, including Nintendo Switch Online.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure I own this game from the Ambassador program, I think. I think it was one of the games for the Ambassador program. I might be mistaken.
Oh, maybe.
And if
like the GBA version?
Yeah, the GBA release. I think I have.
Yeah.
I think that was the one that they did for that. So, like, I might actually own this game. So, I
would need to go grab my 3DS to find out.
Yeah. Another series that they started by naming a Mario game after it, and then it branched off in its own thing. You've got Wario Land, Super Mario Land 3. Honestly, I'd like to turn this over to Jack because I feel like you are the expert here. Tell us about this series that branched off from starting with this game. Because
you play as Wario.
Like, how many games are there?
A lot.
You say you got like Wario Land 1, 2, 3. How many Wario Land games are there?
There are.
It's like.
Technically, I mean,
I know that there's
technically Wario Land just goes up to. Yeah, technically Wario Land just goes up to 4, and like as far as the Wario series is confirmed, there's Wario World for the GameCube.
That's what I'm thinking. There's Wario World,
which was kind of a different thing, honestly. Wario World was a 3D platformer.
Wasn't the game called Wario Land Shake It for Wii or something like that?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that one is considered
Virtual Boy Wario Land.
Yeah, that's true. There was a Virtual Boy game in the Wario Land. That must be...
That's true.
All, like, 2 Virtual Boy owners must be, like, popping off right now. Like, yeah, Wario Land.
Fuck those guys.
Wario Land Shake It is a fucking great game, and I wish that it would get ported.
Is Master of Disguise, is that even like remotely Wario Land-esque, or is that like really its own thing?
I honestly have no idea. I've never played Wario Master of Disguise. From what I understand, or at least from what Wikipedia is telling me, it looks like it's more of a Metroidvania compared to the other games in the series.
Well, it's adjacent at least. Somewhat.
When does Pizza Tower take place in the series?
Pizza Tower is actually a prequel, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, that makes sense.
See, the reason why Wario is like this scummy, evil guy is because his pizza joint just failed, and now he's angry about it.
So, how does that tie into the story from Super Mario Land 1 and 2?
Don't ask me.
His restaurant failed, and then in order to get his foothold back into like society, he tried to take Mario's castle from him in Mario Land 2.
Okay.
He had a midlife crisis.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
To be quite honest, I haven't actually played Mario Land 3 a ton.
Fake fan, moving on.
Alright.
Well, I guess you're gonna have to start streaming it then, so you can get into the Wario.
I mean, honestly, I
series.
I could play it one day. I wouldn't be opposed. I mean, I love Wario Land 4, but that's kind of beyond Mario.
I was gonna say Wario
because
I think Wario Land 4 was that on GBA, because I think that's one of the games that's also in the Ambassador program.
That one I know for a fact was an Ambassador program game.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, Wario Land 4 fucking rules, and I love that game, but it's not really a Mario game, and we're kind of here to talk about the Mario games. I wish I had more to say about Mario Land 3. I know you play as Wario, and like it was kind of like the blueprint for what would become Wario Land 4. more or less. Where, you play as Wario, you can, like, pick up and throw enemies, you have a shoulder charge, you're collecting treasure and shit. Like, but beyond that, I admit I haven't played it very much.
Okay. When you have any
I think
experience?
it's funny. No, but I want to talk about something remotely adjacent to it. I think it's funny that they were like, okay, Yoshi and Wario aren't sellers, so we're gonna throw the Mario name on these to make sure they're system sellers.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. Why am I not playing as Mario in this Mario game?
As you'll find out not too far into the future in this podcast, they didn't consistently stick with that idea.
Nope.
But we'll move on. There's going to be one other adjacent series that... So Landon alluded to it earlier. It mostly... I guess it more so starts with Donkey Kong 94, but you have the Mario vs. Donkey Kong series, which...
kind of.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
Namely, I think it kind of gets a little blurry after, like, the first game or two here. But the first Mario vs. Donkey Kong is at least a little similar. It's much more... So the series is much more puzzle focused, but you do have an aspect of platforming, at least in like the earlier titles, more than that. So it has some very slight like connection.
So yeah, Donkey Kong 94 and Mario vs. Donkey Kong are both more puzzle platformers than platformers because they're more single to like small screen rather than like the ongoing stretch of 2D.
Yes, they're not side
like
scrollers, quote unquote.
Yeah, they're like single screen, basically single screen platformers where you're just trying to like, in these cases, get a key to open a door to move on, essentially, or like rescue the toads or like what have you. Like it is like the puzzle is on the screen and it is your job to puzzle like platform through it. Now Donkey Kong 94 starts with the entirety of Donkey Kong, like the original Donkey Kong game. You just play through it, and then after that, Donkey Kong steals the girl again and runs off, and then Mario has to chase Donkey Kong through 100 levels of this like puzzle platforming, and it is some of like the like craziest, funnest like platforming you can have on the Game Boy. Honestly,
that sounds like a really meaty game for a Game Boy game.
It is. It's
really
very
is.
meaty. It is surprising. Like you get basically 104 levels because you get the four original levels plus 100. Jack, I'm right. It is like 100 levels for Donkey Kong 94.
I'm fairly certain it is. Let me take a look.
Yeah, like I think I'm remembering that right. It's a ridiculous number of levels that you play through. There's multiple worlds. Each world, like, they're not like super duper long levels. Like like I said, they're all like single screen levels. But like, there's a lot of them, and like there's a lot of fun challenge, and like the platforming's really good because they really like were developing Mario's moveset for this, so you can do like the handstands and then like the multi jumps and stuff. So,
oh, I see. So they're split into like series of levels, but those series of levels have like a number of levels to themselves. So the first set is
it is 101 levels total.
Yeah,
including the first 4.
Yeah, I remember it being like after all said and done, it was over 100 levels.
Yeah,
it's a
lot.
I
was thinking it was like 104 levels. It is a lot, but it is so fun. It is like that is a lot of fun. And then they basically just took that concept for that, and eventually they came out with originally the Game Boy Advance, Mario vs. Donkey Kong.
Yep.
Yeah. And then recently this year
they did a remake of the first game.
Remastered.
Yeah, they did a whole remake. Added some like additional worlds that were originally cut, or like they just made up new worlds. Yeah, there's more content from this, and yeah, I streamed that. I streamed the remake. I didn't like do essentially the second playthrough, which makes everything harder. But like I played through the original like set of worlds, and it's another game that's a lot of fun. Like they did the remake is like really good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. Jack, you played a little bit of the remake, right?
I beat it. I beat the main. I beat the main game anyway.
Nice, yeah.
I've never played this series.
Yeah, no,
before,
it's really good.
But I have wanted to play Donkey Kong 94, and I didn't know that's basically where it started, so that'd probably be a good starting point for me.
Yeah.
I would say like Donkey Kong 94 and Mario vs. Donkey Kong, because everything after that
gets a little nutty.
Essentially, it is like because it's just like you controlling where it's like Lemmings.
That's right. Yeah, you don't actually control like your actual character at that point. You're like leading other characters into like stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
The first game that would do that was March of the Minis on the DS, which is a game I actually did play and beat when I was a child. It's funny too. I remember being a child at like I don't know if it was like Target or something, where I was trying to decide on a DS game to buy, and I was torn between March of the Minis and Wario Master of Disguise, and I ended up picking March of the Minis.
I'm sorry.
It wasn't bad. I mean, I remember liking it. But like you said, it's very different from the regular
I have
games.
Yet to play either game, so
it is. I mean, it's been a long time since I played it, but I remember enjoying it.
Yeah. So no. I would say if you want to try like the Mario vs. Donkey Kong style, definitely Donkey Kong 94.
Yeah, played Donkey Kong 94 on Nintendo Switch Online, and if you like it, buy the remake of Mario vs. Donkey Kong, because it's really good.
Yeah, it is a solid game.
And then the last game we have on the short list, because I don't have any, I mentioned I didn't really have much experience with the previous years, is as we alluded to earlier, they did not bother with the Mario name for this one. You got Super Princess Peach, which is side-scroller where you play as Peach instead. Landon, you actually played this game.
I did. I was playing this last year, and I talked a little bit about it in some of our like off segments.
Was it last year already?
I think it was last year.
Yeah, I think so.
Jesus.
I think at best maybe there was a little bit of him talking about it early, like at the beginning of the year, but I think it was last year.
No, I think it was all last year. Because I think I finished it. I want to say I finished it around when we were doing the Dragon Ball podcast.
Yeah.
Damn.
And I do remember you. So like I don't know why I'm equating these two things, but I know that you did your replay of Zelda 1 on your Game & Watch well after Princess Peach.
Oh yeah.
And and Zelda 1 was
end of last year into early this year.
Yeah, because we were getting ready for the Zelda podcast episode. So yeah.
No. No. It was like last year when I like sat down and played through Super Princess Peach. As a platformer, Super Princess Peach is good. It is a little different because it uses like emotions in order to like clear challenges. So like you get a temporary power up when you select like an emotion, and then like you select like sad, and then Princess Peach will start like bawling her eyes out and running around frantically. And it's like used to clear like certain puzzles and stuff.
That is so weird.
Or like anger, or like happiness. Happiness lets her like float in air, and like you can like fly with it. Yeah. So there's like 4 emotions. I'm blanking on the last one off the top of my head. But yeah, like you have like an emotion gauge where you're like you need to you don't have unlimited use of said emotion, but like doing certain things, killing certain enemies in a certain way, like will replenish it. And it's just like used in like clearing the world. And then the whole story setup is Mario and Luigi and Toads are captured by Bowser, and so it's up to Princess Peach to like save them.
Okay.
I would say it never felt like it hits the super highs of some of like the Mario games. But it is like, it's not a bad platformer. I enjoyed my time with it. It's good.
It sounds like one of those things where like you have to go in knowing you're not playing a game that's quite like what you're thinking you're going into playing. You gotta like go in with an open mind.
It's not like playing Peach in like one of the Mario platformers. You're not. It's not like that. It's like it's its own like. It's its own platformer.
It's its own beast.
It's funny. I remember like vividly seeing commercials for Super Princess Peach when I was a kid. I don't know why, but it was like they were really like heavily marketing that one.
Well, I think especially because the DS was so like,
I was gonna say it was really popular, and like when we were talking about March of the Minis, like that was also like real. I remember advertisements for March of the Minis. And I didn't even know there was a Mario vs. Donkey Kong game that came before that until I looked into it shortly after I saw the advertisement. So I was like, "Oh, this isn't like a totally new game. It's like a."
But I think like especially because the DS was like one of the first ones where they were like really marketing to like a wide audience as opposed to like a very specific audience.
Just the core.
Yeah, like a core, mostly male presenting audience, whereas this was like everyone.
I was gonna say, yeah, the DS was the system of it has a little something for everyone.
It's like that in the Wii, and so like this was like that start of it. Honestly, this is really the start of the Reggie like marketing era.
It is in fact America's system.
Yeah. So, like, I think that has a lot to play into why you saw, like, a lot of heavy marketing for this game in particular.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, no. I would say it is, if you're interested in it, it's definitely worth, like, checking out, at least, I would say. Definitely not, I don't think I 100% of the game, because there's a lot involved with that. You have to save, like, 3 toads in every level, and then there's, like, puzzle pieces you have to collect to, like, clear a puzzle, like, mini-game thing. And then you have to replay the game 2 times, essentially. And I'm like, I don't have time for that. I played it through, like, the one time.
I would say, how long is, like, one playthrough, would you say?
Did it take me? I think it took me, like, maybe 15, 20 hours, somewhere in that ballpark.
For one playthrough, that's quite a bit for like a for a game like that.
For me, at least, I think I remember it being that long because it's a full 8 worlds, and like there's like
I'm seeing 8 hours
worlds
for the main stories.
How many?
8 hours.
Oh,
that's still main plus sides is 10 hours. Completion is 16 hours. Could be.
Yeah. Maybe, I mean, I remember getting stuck on some levels too, so I don't know.
So yeah, that is most of the that's all of the short list that we had. I did want to ask one random question though.
Oh boy.
Have any of you played Mario is Missing for the Super Nintendo?
No. Moving on.
Nope.
I remember renting this game from like there was like a local mom and pop video rental store, and they had a lot of Super Nintendo games at the time, and it was like the late 90s. And I remember when I had my Super Nintendo, I would rent a lot of games from this place, and that was one game I rented, and I know I only rented it one time. It left a very strong impression on me because I had no fucking clue what I was doing. I just remember just walking around as Luigi, not knowing what I was doing. I was trying to talk to people. I had no idea what was going on. I was like, this is not the Mario game that I remember playing on the other Nintendo that I had. Never mind. And then I never played it again.
That's fair.
I think that's probably a lot of people's experience with Mario is Missing, is they probably...
I was going to say, that sounds like the average Mario is Missing experience.
It's like, this isn't the Mario I remember playing. Fuck this shit.
Is it time to talk about Wrecking Crew now?
I was going to say, that is
Crew.
actually a really good game we did not bring up. But yeah, Wrecking Crew. I never played Wrecking Crew.
I think it was on one of the original drafts for this podcast, way back when we were drafting this back in January.
Yeah.
And we cut it because it literally made no sense to talk about it.
But I mean, it's tangentially related enough, I guess, right?
It's more it's vaguely Mario that you're playing as. I think if you look it up, it's Mario. I mean, Wrecking Crew was referenced in the Super Mario movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I played a bit of Wrecking Crew. It's another one of those arcade games. It's just another see how long you can last and do the thing. It's basically Donkey Kong.
Okay. That's
with
what
the hammer pretty much all the time.
Okay, that makes sense. I was gonna say that's what it looked like, because I've never played it. I've just kind of seen the game bits and pieces. Yeah. So
that's the easiest way to describe it, is basically Donkey Kong with the hammer the whole time.
Okay.
Because you're just trying to destroy things.
There you go.
But it's not bad for an arcade platformer high score dealio. It's not a bad time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jack, did you have any games that were tangentially related to add into this pool? Did you want to talk about Wario Land 4?
We could talk about the 2D Mario segments of Super Mario Odyssey.
Now we're getting weird. We're not even talking about entire games. We're just talking about sections of games.
Yeah.
No.
What
next? Are we just going to talk about the classic Sonic stages and Sonic Generations?
I was going to say that, yes.
We're just going to talk about Sonic 1 and Sonic Generations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That you can just play Sonic 1 in Sonic Generations.
But even that is more than the 2D Mario segments in Super Mario Odyssey.
I was going to say,
there's 4 of them?
Yeah, there's not a lot. And they literally were just there because, hey, look it's 8-bit Mario. Ooh.
Yeah. Ooh.
Spooky.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
All right, let's rank them. Let's go.
Yeah, what would you guys say would be your... I mean, it'd be kind of hard to rank every single one in a list, but I would definitely say, what would you guys say would be your top 5 if you had to pick?
Including spinoffs?
If you want. I would say let's try to keep it to the core if you can, though, that we talked about before we did the short list.
Just looking at the list.
Just say Super Mario Run 5 times.
Do you want me to start? Because I already have a good handle on my list.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so I would definitely say my number 1 is Super Mario Bros. 3. No surprise there. My favorite Nintendo game of all time, of course. I would say number 2 is Super Mario Bros. Wonder. That game was a lot of fun. Honestly, I want to replay it again sometime. Just the set pieces, the power-ups, just how it controls, everything's really nice. 3, I think for number 3, I would probably give it to New Super Mario Bros. Wii, but it's probably more nostalgia than anything. But I just do remember just having a really fun time playing it, both multiplayer and single player. I wouldn't say it's the best made Mario game, or even close, but I don't know. I just like it a lot. I like the power-ups. I like the worlds. It's fun. Number 4, I think would probably be Super Mario Land 2. I really like the weird world aesthetics and themes in Mario Land 2. It's really well made, within the confines and restrictions of the Game Boy. So like it doesn't feel cheap. It doesn't feel like you have like weird level design that doesn't work within the small screen size. Like it's extremely well made and it's a lot of fun. Really creative game. And I guess for number 5, I guess I would probably give it to Super Mario World. Like I like it a lot. I just don't like it as much as a lot of other people do, but it is extremely solid. There's a lot of cool level ideas that they use. There's a lot of secrets to unlock. The overworld is a lot of fun to explore by unlocking those secret exits and going to different levels and stuff like that. Being able to tune the game to your experience by unlocking the palaces that add extra blocks to levels. Like it's cool. It's a really good game. So like I'll give Super Mario World that. And I didn't include Super Mario Maker in this list just because it would feel weird, but I would probably put Super Mario Maker 2 in there instead of World, I guess. I don't know where I have no idea where I'd put Mario Maker. Like I just gutted it from the list because it would be so hard to rank into the list.
I think my top 5 is more or less the same as yours, just rearranged.
Really?
I mean, maybe not New Super Mario Bros. Wii.
Yeah.
I'm kind of torn between that and Mario 2 USA.
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, I was kind of torn on between Wii and New Super Mario Bros. U. Like, those are both really solid.
Yeah. Honestly, I was tempted to say New Luigi U, just to be a little different, but...
Just New Super Luigi U.
Yeah, Mario World, Mario 3, Mario Wonder, Mario Land 2, and then probably... I'll say New Super Mario Bros. Wii, just because I did have a lot of, like... I have a nostalgic connection to that as well, and, like, playing that multiplayer with friends is, like, its own experience. But if I can include spin-offs, I drop that for Yoshi's Island.
Alright. Before Landon says his, I gotta ask. I'm gonna throw 5 games out there. Tell me how much I got right or wrong. So...
Is this to me?
Yes.
Uh-oh.
This is what I have to guess because you're the contrarian, so I have to assume you got Super Mario...
Hold on. Is this in order from 1 to 5, or is this just 5 games?
5 games. I'm not ordering.
Okay.
Alright. So, you got Super Mario Land, Super Mario Brothers The Lost Levels.
No, you've already lost.
I'm doing this on purpose and you know it. Super Mario Run.
Okay.
Okay, you're back. You're back.
Super Mario Maker 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
And New Super Luigi U. Because Jack didn't say it.
Ooh.
Okay. Jack, do you have, like, a guess as to 5
a prediction
games?
For your 5 games?
Yeah.
I like how we gotta guess Landon's games before he lets them out.
Super Mario Run.
Okay.
Super Mario Maker 2, but only with the 3D world aesthetic. It has to be the 3D world aesthetic, otherwise it's no good.
It doesn't count otherwise.
Yeah. New Luigi U. I'm gonna say Donkey Kong Jr. Math. And Doki Doki Panic.
Not even Super Mario Bros. 2 USA.
Doki Doki
Literally,
Panic. Yeah.
He was like, nah, I'm a hipster. I played the Japanese release.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? Those sound great, guys. Thanks.
Yeah. You're welcome.
He's not even gonna say anything else. He's like,
what
those
did
are great.
You guys do recently? If I had to say a list of games that were Mario themed, yeah, those were both definitely lists that are Mario themed.
Yeah.
I would probably personally, I would go. I think Super Mario Brothers Wonder, is probably my favorite 2D Mario game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think I really enjoyed, like the experience of playing it, and so like I think it's my favorite. But I could also, it's been a year, and I could use a revisit on that. After that, I'm not entirely sure what the order would be, but I do legitimately like New Super Mario Brothers U. Super Mario Brothers U.
That seems like a U pick.
Because that was for a long time, was like my favorite.
I do remember you hyping it up a lot when you were playing it. Like, you used to tell us, like, when we were like chatting about how much you liked it.
And it's another, like, I should actually like go back and like revisit that, like I did the original. Maybe I'll reconfirm my thoughts I did when I replayed DS.
You might have had a better experience if you just skipped over replaying DS and just played U again.
You know, but I wanted to confirm that, like, because I was like, I really, really remember not super caring for this game, and I went back and played it, and I was like, you know what? I was right. I am correct. Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
And Super Mario Land 2, 6 gold coins, easy. And then after that, I honestly don't know. Those are like, I would say, my easy top 3 picks from core. I think Donkey Kong 94 is a stellar platformer, and so it's really hard for me to not say like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure I also made the argument for it when we did like, we did a top 10 2D platformers, or something.
We had a 2D platformers podcast.
The reason why we have this short list of like alternate, like tangentially related games is because Landon was like, I want to be able to talk about Donkey Kong 94. And then I was like, all right, well, we're going to have to include a bunch of other games that are like kind of connected so that it doesn't just feel out of place. And we like pieced everything together. And he was like, all right, cool. I get to talk about Donkey Kong 94.
And then I think to round out like my top 5 2D Mario platformers, it is Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. Thank you. Good night.
I know what your real top Mario list is. It's Super Mario RPG, Sonic the Hedgehog, Donkey Kong 3.
Oh, God.
Okay, that's 3 games.
Adventures of Lolo 1 and 2.
All right, you can stop now.
There you go.
Okay. Harvest Moon.
What did you guys fucking do?
Past couple weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, what about you, Jack?
Honestly, the past couple weeks have been kind of dead for me. I haven't really done a whole lot lately. I'm racking my brain for literally anything I might have done.
Yeah.
Honestly.
It's been...
I will...
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it has been, like, kind of a dry spell for me in terms of like doing shit, at least since the last podcast. But I will say this weekend I'm going to Nashville with my dad. We're going to see Jason Isbell at the Ryman Auditorium, and we're gonna go see the Colts hopefully not lose to the Titans on Sunday, so that'll be fun.
Okay.
Have not really been up to much, though.
Yeah.
Bought Zelda, haven't played it yet.
I was gonna say, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Like, I don't really have a whole lot to say. Like, at the end of the last podcast, I did mention, like, Magic the Gathering, because there's, like, a big shakeup going on in, like, the way that in the format that I play. So I was basically just playing that a bit more frequently. I went over to hang out with my friends the past couple weeks to play that. So one of the reasons why I'm doing this, like, cozy, like, beanbag chair sit downs for the stream today, podcast, is because I'm actually watching you guys on a TV that I literally just found on the curbside that someone threw out the other day. So like I got a free TV. Like it's a nice TV. It's a nice like 40 to 43 inch. I mean obviously I have a better TV in my actual room, but this is like an awesome secondary TV that cost me $0.00. So like yeah.
Why the hell not?
Exactly. It has all these inputs. So, like, I can actually hook up my older classic consoles to it and play those without an adapter or anything. And I love that. I love, like, HD TVs that still have component composite. It's great. So,
yep.
Like, now that, like, there's newer TVs coming out that don't have it and they don't have that support, like, having a TV that does have that is really cool.
I feel like a lot of TVs for a while haven't had component composite.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate.
It sucks. I think the last TV I had was probably like near the last couple years of them having those.
It's like how they don't make cars with CD players anymore. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah, it sucks. I mean, I know it's a cost measure. It's like they don't want to add all of that stuff in there if it's not really going to see use, but like it sucks. It means that you have to like go and you have to try to like find older models that have that stuff. So I've been like kind of tinkering with it here and there, like hooking up my old consoles. I've been like trying to check out my old files. Other than that, not a whole lot really going on new with me. Work has been so exhausting physically that like most nights I just come home and I'm just like, and I just like kind of like lay there and just like try to like rest. So like,
hey, what'd you play on the Switch last night?
Oh, I
saw you get online when we were playing Night in the Woods.
Yeah, so like I decided to buy the Sega Ages release of Phantasy Star in the Discord. Join our Discord, by the way, if you're not already a part of that.
Join the Discord.
I was like trying to figure out a way because I want to play through the rest of the Phantasy Star series, but my access to it, like I have all of them on the Sonic Genesis collection for the PS3, but I don't usually like to have to go through setting my PS3 up so I can play it. That's another thing that I can now try to fix with this new second TV in the other room. But I kind of wanted a way to play it portably, so like I got the Sega Ages release on the Switch, and then I have access to the other 3 games a bunch of different ways. So I'm gonna go back and play 1 first because I don't know if my opinion's gonna change, but from what I played on the PS3, did not care for Phantasy Star 3. I don't think that's gonna change, but I like Phantasy Star 1. It's really, really fun for what it is, because it's like a really old game. It's 1988. So it's like early-ass JRPG. But the presentation for its time, phenomenal. I love it so far. It's grindy, though, so like...
You are not alone in the Phantasy Star 3 camp. That is a very common...
Yeah.
Very common, like, opinion. Phantasy Star 4 is, like, a timeless classic in a lot of people's eyes. Phantasy Star 2... and 1 are, like, pretty solid games. Phantasy Star 3 is the blackest sheep of the family of the original. Like,
I'm trying to give it a chance. I mean, speaking of black sheep of the series, I am picking up Final Fantasy VIII a bit more. I played quite a bit of it the past couple of days, and it's good? Question mark. It's a little complicated.
Too much credit.
Yeah, it's a little convoluted with like the junctioning system, but it does give me the option to like build my characters like pretty freely. It's just like it has about as much freedom as Final Fantasy VII's materia system, but it has none of the simplicity of Final Fantasy VII's materia system. Like, Final Fantasy VII's materia system was like, okay, I put this colored thing here, and this colored thing here, and I can do combos of shit, and then I get all these abilities. Cool. That is not how Final Fantasy VIII works. Like, you have to, like, get your guardian force or your GF or your girlfriend, or I don't know what the fuck they are, and you have to, like, assign them to characters, and then you have to assign magic to the slots that they open up, and then you have to assign abilities, and I'm just like, what is this? This is a mess.
I think they're giraffes, actually.
They might be
Yeah,
giraffes.
they're giraffes.
But it does open up the ability to build your characters a bunch of different ways. But there's two things that I don't care for with this game, and that is, one, you have to do, like, drawing your spells and abilities from enemies, and sometimes you just gotta sit there and you just gotta click, until, like, you get, like, a bunch of them in your stock, because there's no MP in this game. You just stock them like items. And then...
it's Paper Mario Sticker Star.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm never going to play Final Fantasy VIII.
And then the enemies scale based on your level and your stats. They have like a certain bracketing system that they go into, and they scale. So it's like, I don't feel like I'll draw a bunch of like spells from stuff, but I don't feel inclined to grind, because it's like, the enemies are just gonna keep getting stronger anyway, so, like, why should I do that? Like, I know it's sensational that you have, like, people like Pro Jared and Some Call Me Johnny, who, like, they, like, meme on this game, but it really is just what they say that it is. Like, it is a game that, like, it feels pointless to play through. It has
the reputation it does for a reason.
It has a lot to offer, but, like, it also has stuff that just, like, goes actively against it. Now, I'll admit, I don't have the time to sit down and play the best aspect of this game, which is not the actual game itself, but the triple triad stuff. So I haven't really delved into the best part of the game yet, but I'll probably try to sit down and, like, do it. The story is okay. The characters are fine. I really like Zell. Zell's really fun. But Squall, I don't care for Squall. Like, to compare him, so, like, Zidane and Cloud are both characters that you have control over, but they are still, like, they are defined characters who have a role in the story, and they move the story along because of their role in the story. That is not how Squall is. Squall is the most passive, lets everybody else dictate the pace of the story ass protagonist I have played in a Final Fantasy game where the characters are well defined.
He's a real Sonic in Sonic Riders, where he's just along for the ride.
He really is, and I don't like it. Like, he's not as insufferable as, like, people try to, like, make him into, but, like, he is so passive, and he's so, like, I'd rather play as anybody else as the protagonist than Squall. Like, like, I'd rather play as Quistis, or Zell, or Selphie, or even Renoa, but I don't care for Squall all that much. Like,
why does Final Fantasy VIII have the most, like, Kingdom Hearts sounding character names?
Probably because Kingdom Hearts built off of the weirdness that was Final Fantasy VIII.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gross.
But yeah, that's what I've been doing. I'm trying to, like, continue pushing myself along through a bunch of RPGs that I haven't played yet in, like, classic franchises. Eventually, I will get to Dragon Quest as well. So, I think I'll probably I think I'll be more inclined to play Dragon Quest now that I'm playing Phantasy Star 1, because it's got that similar battle style where, like, you've got very simplistic, like, head-on enemies. You only see them and you do attacks like that. I think I'll be more inclined to play Dragon Quest now that I'm playing something similar. So.
Hell yeah.
RPG phase, baby. Keep it going.
It's not a phase if it's the rest of your life.
It will probably be the rest of my life at this point. So, yeah, that was me. I kind of drew that out a little bit extra, though.
Cloud will be 90 years old with Alzheimer's, and he'll be like, "Draw, Squall! Draw!" And he's just, like, pushing buttons on a controller that's not plugged in on a TV that's not turned on.
Oh, God. Just having PTSD from Final Fantasy VIII.
Yeah.
God, what an awful existence. Write a living will that says, "Just put me down if that happens."
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't like that you guys managed to make an accurate comparison to Sticker Star with that game.
You're the one who set it up. You're the one who.
I didn't realize that this would happen.
It's just
Don't-
Sticker Star.
Don't worry, Cloud. I'll be traumatized by Sticker Star when I'm 90. So
Nice.
And I won't be traumatized at all.
you'll be dead.
Because you'll
Yeah.
be too busy telling us about what have you been up to.
Well, last weekend I went to a local Oktoberfest and we went to the Pumpkin Patch, so that was my whole weekend.
Hell yeah!
Minus me playing Zelda Echoes of Wisdom.
Woo!
I have that game that Jack is holding up. I have I think it's like 2 story dungeons left. So I have the way it's set up, because it's way more open, is you do 1, and then you get your choice for 2 and 3. They're like, all right, now go to these places. But you can do them in any order. Thanks. And then number 4, you have to do. And then after that, it's like, okay, now you have these 3 places to go. And I've done 2 of those 3 places. And then there's a final dungeon after that. So
The Sonic Colors approach to level progression.
pretty much.
I'm
But
just out here making comparisons today.
I mean, that's what today is.
Yeah.
I like basically the whole world is like you can go over the whole world. Like I was hitting up the mountain area like pretty early before you're supposed to, like, before the game goes like, okay, story's over there, you can go over there now. But I was like, I'm just gonna walk around to the whole fucking mountain, and like you can recruit like echoes if you can beat the enemy. So like I had a fire whiz robe just chilling before I could even summon it. I was like, cool, which was fun. I'm really enjoying Echoes of Wisdom, so I'd say definitely, Jack, tell us your thoughts. You should write something.
On Echoes of Wisdom?
Well, when you play
The game.
When you play
Oh, well, yeah, when I play it,
Yeah.
I'll let you know. I was going to say, the game that I've already mentioned that I haven't played yet.
I mean, yeah, when you play it.
I still have to get it.
You don't have to worry.
I had a-
Don't
I had a mini heart attack for a second because I was looking at the corner. I think my hand was covering the ESRB, and I saw, like, the green corner, and I'm like, oh god, is that a Peggy logo?
Oh god.
Did I somehow get this?
A European copy? At my local GameStop?
They would never. They literally can't.
They literally cannot.
So yeah. But the weekend before that, I spent a lot of money and I bought all this. So that was fun.
Oh god. Alright. Go through it. Tell us each game.
We got Classic.
New Super Mario Brothers 2.
Yeah, we
Uh,
talked about that game.
Yeah.
We got a game. It's
Cool.
Jake Hunter Detective Story Ghost of the Dusk. Text-based detective game. Classic. Classic.
Animal Crossing
Home
Happy
Designer.
Haven't played it yet. Classic.
Animal Crossing New
Classic.
Leaf.
Haven't played it yet.
Finally have a physical copy.
Mario
Classic.
Hoops 3-on-3.
Hell
we
yeah.
put that into a timeline with Final Fantasy
I've-
and Dragon Quest.
We did.
I fucking love Mario Hoops 3-on-3.
Game we talked about today.
Yoshi Touch.
Yeah.
Yoshi Touch and Go. Another game we
game.
talked about today.
Today.
Mario vs. Donkey Kong March.
Yeah.
March of the Minis.
It's Mini Land Mayhem. But yeah.
Oh, well,
Diff-
close
We,
enough.
we mentioned it.
Yeah.
A game we talked about last year.
Dragon Ball Z Shin Budokai Another Road. Yes. It's a good game.
And then
A
more
bunch
garbage.
a bunch of
I'll
PS3.
just go through this real quick. The Gilded Fate Paradox, PS3. Resistance 2 and 3 for the PS3. The Killzone Trilogy,
Oh, that's cool.
PS3. And then Infamous 1, which I got for $3. Best deal I
Nice.
got all weekend. And then
Nice.
The
The
Blob
Blob.
for the Wii.
Da blob.
And then it's off to the side because it's not in the case, but we got
Dragon Ball
Boo's
Z
Fury.
Boo's Fury. That game is awesome.
Trash. We'll never play it.
Yes, you should. You should.
Listen, the first 2 games burnt me. Why would I ever play
I
it?
promise you, you will like Booze Fury, if nothing else.
Unfortunately, I don't have time to play Booze Fury because Big Mode's brand new release of Animal Well.
I just got the fucking shipping notification today, so I'm still waiting on mine.
Baby. It came in, and
Animal Well.
I can't play it because Zelda. And, more importantly, Sparking Zero.
I was going to say.
It's Friday, man.
Yep. Sparking Zero comes out.
That's it.
We'll be talking a little bit about that in our wrap-up section if we have time next episode.
We will only be talking about that all next podcast because I don't want to talk about nothing else.
So, yeah, I think that's it for this episode. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We had a lot to say about Mario games. If this was one podcast, I think we actually would have gone past Dragon Ball. I think.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a good thing we didn't do it in one episode.
Because you would have had to edit it all.
Yeah, and I would have cried.
And I would have laughed.
Yeah. So we'll see you guys next time. Roll the outro. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Gaming Stooges Talks podcast. If you enjoyed us, consider subscribing to our podcast RSS feed, or follow us on youtube.com/GamingStooges and twitch.tv/GamingStooges for more gaming content. If you'd like to chat with us, join our Discord. The link can be found in the episode description. We also want to thank all of our Patreon supporters. Your continued support means a lot to us. Not already one? Please take a look at what we have to offer anyone who becomes a patron at patreon.com/GamingStooges. See you next time!